Hey, Kickass man. Joe Bongiovanni here from the Kettle Pond Institute for Debt-Free Money. I hope you don't mind me getting back with you. Your videos are not aimed at old geezers, but I actually pretty impressed with some of your work, and especially this thing that I'm responding to here on the contrails. It's very interesting. Um, but I'm getting back with you after you and I have traded a couple of comments on Dennis Kucinich's bill, Dennis Kucinich's video about the Fed, and so to me that means that you must have some kind of a connection going on out there, and I'm not sure what the basis of it is, but you've posted a couple of comments about the printing press, kind of the printing press guy. If everybody has a printing press, everybody can be prosperous, which of course is not true. So then I don't know if you post as a serious comment or it's just sarcasm over for a group of people who might think that you can do something with the money system to achieve prosperity, which I do. I think I said I'm Joe Bongiovanni. I'm with my partner up in Vermont, Pete Young, have a website called at economicstability.org. And we also have a YouTube channel at user/economic stability, one word. And we do videos on reforming the money system. So I wanted to take you up because, hey, you can request a video here. Request a video if you got a subject. Well, mine probably is not as interesting as those of a lot of your, either other subscribers or people who happen upon your YouTube channel. But I'm the kind of person that, likes to engage, for the discussion if there's any purpose to it. So you can just either, say, hey, I'm not really that interested in doing anything like that. Or you can try to, put down in some more detail. So I'm requesting a video on what you think about the monetary system, the money system, and how the money system ought to work. Okay. Uh, Types of comments that generally come around the issue of the printing press are usually Austro-libertarian based. They're usually based on, kind of those concepts that say that it's the government's printing too much money that's devaluing the currency. I don't know if it was you who made the comment. No, I don't think it was. I think it was the Patriot guy about, it was going to result in devaluing the currency, and in fact has resulted in devaluing the currency. So the first thing that I want to say about that little thing is just that the Fed's not the government. Since 1913, we've leased our money system to private bankers, and they're the ones that have created all the money. And and in talking about what they're doing, if they had created the same amount of money without the debt, you could say that the prosperity that we do have has been a result of doing not too bad a job of creating money. I always say about the bankers, the bankers use the money system that we give them to use, and the Fed uses the money system that that of the design that we've accepted. So we've accepted this debt-based monetary system for the Fed to use, and they've done the best job they can doing that. Trying to push on a stream, unfortunately, is their main policy tool. But the bankers, have a way that they come in there, look for a solid borrower, and they create a couple of pieces of paper, a promissory note and a collateralized security agreement, and they make the loan and they get paid back the loan, and bankers live happily ever after. Very few bankers really understand the money system. Believe me, I've known a lot of bankers, and very few of them really understand the money system. So, so having said that, we'll talk a little bit just about the limitations of the printing press, which is really the limitations of money. Okay, the way any nation's economy, any of the national economy of any nation, of any sovereign, monetarily sovereign nation, and that's a distinction that has to be made. We are one. I know that I know that. Um, but any monetarily sovereign nation has a limitation because all money can do in reality is to provide the means of exchange. In reality, that's all it can do. Okay, I know it has other functions, but those are functions that come up after it fulfills its role as the means of exchange for the economy. So, in terms of the prosperity that a money system can bring, as a means of exchange properly functioning, what it means is that the limitations, the real limitations of the national economy, which would be its natural resources, put a box around it, its people and their labor. Now, the means people say, oh, what about the means of production? And what about the distribution system? And what about, the infrastructure? All that stuff comes from those two, labor and uh, human, uh, the human capital, if you will, and the natural resources interacting create all the real wealth. Okay? That distribution system, the infrastructure, all that. It means of production to create all the things that are hanging out there in your room and mine. So you can't do more than that, no matter how much money you print. All you can do is drive up the price of those things, the cost of those things. So again, if you're serious about the printing press thing, which I don't think you are, but I think you're serious about something else and using that as a tool to edify about that. So my suggestion, Google up, come to an understanding of money first. Okay. Back when I was taking drugs and being a Buddhist, and environmental activist, social activist, and a peacenik, and all those things, my dad used to tell me that, those are all good things, but you'll never fix any of those things until you fix the money system because that's where the power is. Okay, and it's fixable. And I used to laugh at my dad. He was a monetary reformer. It's like nobody else was a monetary reformer. What's he doing? Now I'm a monetary reformer. Nobody else is a monetary reformer. So I'm not trying to turn you into a monetary reformer. But I'm just asking you as a person who's out there commenting and inviting, that there's going to be some old geezer out there who's going to shoot back at you and say, do something on the monetary system. So anyway, I started to say, if you Google up the Descartes lecture by Nobelist Frederick Soddy on, what do you call that? Just 1 second. He called it Soddy's Descartes lecture. He called it physical science and the duties of the sovereign state, or something like that. The relationship between the physical sciences and the duties of the sovereign state. If you take a read of that Soddy was a scientist, a physical scientist, a chemist, radiochemist, the father of nuclear energy, really, co-founder with Rutherford of nuclear fission, a guy who's won his Nobel Prize on the basis of understanding isotopic separations, that there can be more than one isotope of an element. Brilliant guy, but who realized that all of the work that he was doing in chemistry was turning against mankind. And he started the social sciences, and getting into the social sciences, he's tried to understand why economics don't work. So then he got to the money system, and he found that the money system is what he calls a con game. Okay? So he proposed a solution. So after the Descartes lecture, read his book on the role of money. Frederick Soddy, The Role of Money. Or don't do any of that stuff, I figured, at first, like I said, I thought it was a libertarian thing about the printing press, but when I mentioned von Mises' book, von Mises is the holy grail to the Austrians, his definition of inflation and what you can do with money, the printing presses. You know, and you turned around and said, well, that's just a theory. So yeah, that is just a theory, but it's a well thought out theory and well established theory in economics, you know, these days. Anyway, if you're up to it, do it. Get back with me. You know, you can contact me at my either Joby Head, because I have a Joby Head YouTube, or the Economics Ability YouTube. Let's talk in between trips. Thanks.